Mercedes in 2022 had a very bad year compared to the high standards that they have set for so long. They fell to P3 in the constructors' standings with only one win to the name, which came in the penultimate race in Brazil with George Russell taking it home. The new regulations proved to be very tough for Mercedes to crack, and they just simply got it wrong with their W13, which they struggled to get a hand on with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. A team who dominated everyone for 8 years were now struggling to get even one driver onto the podium in most races. But they developed the car and eventually were fighting at the top to come to the end of the season. There was clearly something wrong with the car that we could not see, more than likely with the floor or the suspension, but it's hard to say which. Toto Wolff was talking a lot during the year about how they have found the issue, and 2023 will be a much better year for the team, where they will potentially be back at the top fighting for wins and championships once again. The W14 is the challenger for Mercedes in 2023, and in today's video we are going to talk about any clues that we have got from the launch of the car, what we could see from Mercedes in 2023, and whether they have solved the issues that plagued them so much last season. Let's get straight into it. To start off with, we are going to talk a little bit about the most recent launch of the W14 has taught us. Well, for starters, the main talking point for everyone is that the car has gone back to the famous black that they adopted in 2020 and 2021. The team went back to silver last year, but they deemed that as unlucky, so they've gone back to the black that served them so well in 2021, but mainly in 2022, where the car looked menacing. This year's car is no different, and it looks like it will be good on the track just by the way it looks. Mercedes has always been good when they've been in black. They may have been known as the Silver Arrows, but this kind of scheme really does fit the team and the way the car will look on the track compared to the others. However, this is not the only reason why Mercedes has gone to black. One of these is for weight saving, as they struggled with this last year. The car may look like it's painted fully black, but it actually has a lot of exposed carbon, which lowers the weight to allow them to get to the limit and not over it. The lower the weight of the car, the quicker it will be able to go, and this is one of the reasons that Red Bull was able to dominate in 2022, was because they had a very light car compared to its competitors, which allowed them to go a tenth or so quicker per lap compared to the Ferrari, which was overweight. Toto talked a lot about how weight is key to the car being good, and Mercedes clearly believe by removing as much paint as possible will allow the car to go even quicker, and they are not the only team to do this, as we've seen this with the Williams and the McLaren so far. However, we did not get to see how the car was black. We got to see what we might see with the Mercedes in 2023 with their design. The car had the very infamous no side pod approach, which was expected due to Toto talking about this was not the issue of the car, but it actually helped them. However, it's fair to say that we might see a completely different car come the pre-season testing in Bahrain with side pods, but we will have to wait and see what the outcome of this will be. It may be a different come to the race in Bahrain, as Mercedes are known to trick us and then change the car last minute to surprise everyone. Overall, it is fair to say that this launch was exciting for all of us fans, as many of us have called for the car to go back to black, and they did this. And we also get to see some hints of what the 2023 car will look like. What do you think of the black on the car? Do you like it, or do you prefer the silver that we saw last year? Make sure to drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on the W14. Next up, we're going to talk about what the issues were with the W13 and how Mercedes could have fixed them for 2023. One issue that was touched on a bit at the launch was of course the porpoising that Mercedes had the worst of at the start of the season. This was mainly down to the floor and the suspension, which Mercedes could not change in a season due to the cost it would be, and of course they do not want to break the cost cap and will be involved in all of that drama that it caused. So for 2023, you will not be able to see it, but Mercedes are more than likely have put a lot of thought and effort into the floor and suspension, as many believe that this was the main issue that caused the poor performance of the team in 2022. If they have solved this issue, we could easily see Mercedes back in a total fight right to the end of the season if the fundamentals of the car are right. We didn't get many words from the team at the launch about the car itself, but they do seem quietly confident that they have got this car right. Quite early on last year, Mercedes started the development of their car before most teams, which could give them quite an advantage, as Toto came out and said that they found the issue that caused so much poor performance last year. All this sounds very exciting, as Mercedes looked to have solved the issue that caused them not to be in a chance of the championship last year. I guess we will have to wait and see as Mercedes are back and exceed all the expectations that are around them before the season even starts. On to the reason that you clicked on this video. What will Mercedes look like in 2023? We have touched on this a bit already, but now we're going to summarize it and go into even more detail about the issues at hand that have to be fixed for Mercedes. They have to make sure that the porpoising is fixed, and this will be down to how they have changed the floor of the car and the suspension to try and eradicate such issues come the start of the season. The team cannot start as slow as they did last year if they want any chance of winning a championship. They have to be close to Red Bull and Ferrari and at least challenge for a pole or win regularly and try and build on that. Mercedes will look and feel much more hungry than they have in previous years because they have a point to prove, to show how they know how to bounce back and win in style. They know that they have their back against the wall, but they will have to take it as a challenge to become a dominating side again. They're not getting too ahead of themselves, but you can tell they are quietly confident that they will make a step forward in 2023. Mercedes do not want to put too high of an expectation on this season, but they will want to, of course, win every race. But that is just not realistic. They have to build step by step slowly as they look to get back to the top. Hamilton and Russell are both top quality drivers and are probably the best driver lineup on the grid at the moment. They will be able to drag the team back to the top once they are given the car to do so. They both have a thing to prove. Lewis to show how he's still a top driver after getting beaten by George last season, and also George wants to beat him again and show how he is the better driver. They have a good relationship on and off the track, but in the back of their minds, they will want to beat each other and win championships. Could we see the same thing that happened with Rosberg and Hamilton happen with Russell and Hamilton if they both are fighting for the championship? It'll be a very interesting season, and Mercedes are the team to watch. Will they meet or exceed everyone's expectations? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure that you like the video and subscribe for more content just like this one.